People always talk about the beautiful parts of a wedding, the gown, the promises, the sound of happy laughter. They never mention the silence that follows. When that same laughter echoes back from the dark, cold, and entirely fake. My name is Amelia. I thought I had married the man who completed me. And on the surface, our wedding was perfection. White roses, champagne, and my sister Chloe standing right beside me. But the day we took our vows wasn't an ending. It was a beginning. A beginning for their secret group. A bond twisted by desire, sealed by betrayal. Every month since, they met. My husband, his friends, my sister, my bridesmaids. They called them reunions. I later found the truth. They were just restaging our wedding night over and over without me. For 3 years, I lived a lie. I slept beside the deception. I laughed with the performance. I knew nothing until the afternoon my 3-year-old son, completely by accident, held the key that unlocked their secret world. It was the last Friday of the month, George's usual business trip weekend. He worked as a senior account executive for a logistics firm. Always claiming end-of-month reviews kept him away for 2 nights. I believed him. I believed everything. That afternoon, he rushed out after taking a quick, hushed call, leaving his iPad on the living room chaise lounge. It was tucked inside the small, personalized canvas bag we'd given the groomsmen. A silly, nostalgic detail from our wedding day. Liam, our son, was watching cartoons, his head resting against the armrest. Later, I was beside him, singing the low, wordless lullaby I used to calm him when he was a baby, when he finally drifted off mid-episode. I bent to lift him gently. As I did, my elbow nudged the iPad. The screen lit up with a small, jarring sound effect, the opening chord of our old wedding song, used now as the notification chime for his private chat apps. A single WhatsApp notification blinked. The sender's name made my stomach tighten. Chloe. New city, new memories. Hotel Magnus Plaza booked? Everyone confirmed? At first, I smiled, already lifting the child. A random group message, maybe copied on by mistake. But the movement shifted Liam's hand, and his small fingers accidentally dragged the screen down. My smile vanished. The group's name was now clearly visible. Forever and always, wedding team. That was our planning chat from 3 years ago. It should have been archived, deleted, forgotten after the ceremony. Curiosity prickled harder than fear. It felt like an electric current running up my arm. I settled Liam carefully into his crib, my hands automatically adjusting his blanket, while my mind was already racing back to the couch. I tapped the group. What spilled onto the screen was not the group of friends joking. It was filth laid bare. Conversations dated just days ago. Videos, short, blurred clips that seemed to flash quickly across a dark room. Inside jokes about our monthly tradition. A phrase that sounded so casual, so rehearsed. Comments like, "George, you're on champagne duty this time. Don't forget the good stuff. Don't be late, Chloe. You know he can't start without you." I scrolled further, my eyes moving but my body frozen. My hands trembled once, but I immediately pressed my thumbnail into the soft flesh of my palm, holding the pain to keep my focus steady. I refused to shake. Photos of crumpled hotel receipts, familiar faces grinning in bathrobes, my bridesmaids, his groomsmen, my own sister. I saw a message from George, referencing a personalized flask from his bachelor party, something I'd spent hours choosing. The iPad slipped from my fingers, not with a crash, but landing softly on the thick rug. In that instant, in the quiet of my home, I realized the people I loved most, the ones who stood with us, who toasted our vows, shared something I could never compete with, a secret built from the ashes of my trust, a 3-year-long, monthly sin. That night, George came home late. He smelled of mint, expensive cologne, and the generic, unidentifiable scent of hotel soap. He smiled, dropped a mechanical kiss on my forehead, and asked if Liam had eaten. His voice was casual, a performance he'd perfected over 3 years. I nodded, watching him remove his tie and his tailored jacket. He casually tossed the coat onto a chair, then went straight to the bathroom. His work laptop, which held the digital proof of my devastation, was propped open on his side of the bed. Inside, the world was shattered, but on the surface, I was a sheet of polished black ice. I stayed up long after he slept, a solid, peaceful, guiltless sleep. The only light was the glow from the laptop screen. I sat inches from him, his slow, rhythmic breathing the only sound. I returned to the group chat, scrolling again through the endless casual cruelty. I was no longer shaking. My hands were perfectly steady. They'd joked about my trusting nature, of course, but one message stood out, a detail that finally drew blood. Chloe had posted a picture of a bottle of expensive champagne, writing, "Thanks, Em, for sacrificing your convertible, for the house down payment. It's paying for the good bubbly now." It wasn't just a joke. It was a cruel commentary on my devotion. I cataloged screenshots, dates, file exports. I was a detective reviewing a crime scene. Only the victim was my own life. Every message became not evidence of their sin, but a brick in the cold, unyielding wall I was building around my heart. As I was exporting the last chat log, George shifted. He murmured something, a soft, indistinct word that sounded like my name, or maybe just a sigh. I physically froze, my breath catching in my throat. I held the tension, listening to the shift in the bedsheets, until his breathing returned to its deep, predictable rhythm. The urge to smash the laptop, to scream and wake him up and demand the truth, was a physical ache, but I held it. The time for screaming was over. Then I opened our joint bank account. I looked at the number, representing our savings, our future, our life. And I began the cold, hard math of vengeance. I cross-referenced the recurring monthly hotel costs with their inflated travel reimbursements. I saw the total amount of money they'd spent building their secret world. My money, our money. And I calculated not the emotional damage, but the precise financial steps required to strip him of every single cent of security. My pillow stayed dry. My focus was absolute. By dawn, the room was cold. I looked at George, his face innocent in the low light, and whispered so softly, even the air didn't hear, "Keep sleeping, darling. You'll need your strength." The victim was dead. The architect was awake. For weeks, I wore the mask of the perfect wife. It was a high-stakes performance, and I never missed a line. The sheer mental effort of maintaining the facade while staring at my husband, George, was exhausting. A constant, low-frequency pressure behind my eyes. I played the role perfectly, because inside, I wasn't married to him anymore. I was only his executioner. Breakfasts were on time. Texts sent during his workday were sweetly affectionate. I even allowed myself to laugh during dinner when Chloe visited, listening to her talk about planning her next spa weekend, a phrase that now felt like a curse. I had to restrain myself from flinching whenever George touched me, but I didn't pull away. The performance extended into our social life. I made sure to meet the unsuspecting partners, the wives of the groomsmen, the husbands of the bridesmaids, for casual outings. I listened as they discussed renovations, school applications, and vacations they were planning, completely unaware that their spouses were secretly scheduling a monthly sin behind their backs. The warmth they showed me, the trust, felt like another weight of responsibility. I was destroying their marriages, but I was also saving them from a lifetime of deception. I studied their routines like a scientist tracking a virus. Every end of the month, George traveled for business. Chloe often vanished. The groomsmen, now husbands, invented their predictable excuses. I was mapping their entire calendar of betrayal. Their next rendezvous was locked in. Hotel Magnus Plaza, in a different city, the one Chloe mentioned. I quickly confirmed the hotel had something none of their previous ones did. A grand hall equipped with a private AV booth and a projector. I saw an opportunity shaped exactly like poetic justice. One evening, as George packed his immaculate, deceiving travel bag, he paused by the bedroom door. Liam ran in then, asking George to help him build a tower. I watched them, a perfect picture of father and son, and the coldness solidified. This wasn't just about George. It was about protecting the future he was willing to sacrifice for a monthly tryst. I placed a hand on his shoulder. My touch felt clinical, but my voice was soft, persuasive. Actually, I said, I was thinking we should celebrate our 3rd anniversary properly this time. No office, no distractions. Maybe we could use that same hotel you're always talking about, Magnus Plaza. I checked. They have a hall that looks perfect for a small party. He froze, his hand mid-zip. The faintest flicker of suspicion crossed his face, a split-second gap in his performance. Magnus Plaza? That's interesting. What made you pick that one? I smiled, wide and innocent. You've mentioned it before, and I thought it would make you feel comfortable. Plus, it's available next weekend. The word comfortable had a hidden, venomous meaning that only I could hear. He studied me, then shrugged, forcing a grin. Sure, let's make it special. The hook had been set. Over the following days, I quietly contacted the hotel. I spoke to the manager, a soft-spoken woman named Liana, who assumed I was planning a romantic surprise. I lied easily, my detailed fabrication about a renewal of vows perfectly covering my intent. By pretending to finalize catering and seating details for my surprise anniversary, I retrieved the full, confidential guest list for the rooms reserved under the conference booking. The group block my husband and his friends had arranged for their secret gathering. Every conspirator's name was there: George, Chloe, the groomsmen, the bridesmaids. Every room number, every alias. I noted the date of their reservation, the night after my supposed anniversary party. The genius of the trap was simple. They would walk right into their rooms, having no idea they had just walked across my stage. Mine would be the last name they'd ever expect to appear at that hotel. A week before our anniversary, I stopped being a wife and became an engineer of destruction. Every word, every smile, every gesture was placed with surgical care. George believed he was attending a private celebration. The others thought they were gathering for their usual monthly escape. None of them realized the two events were the same night, under the same roof. The performance, it felt impossible to sustain. One afternoon, while I was reviewing the video on the large monitor in my home office, George unexpectedly walked past the open door, talking loudly on his phone. I had only a split second. My heart leaped, but my body moved instantly, fueled by pure adrenaline. I slammed the laptop shut, the sound muffled only by the plush mousepad. I had to physically hold my breath until I heard the tap of his shoes fade down the hallway. The risk was intoxicating. The discovery would have ruined the plan, but I wasn't caught. Meanwhile, the innocent were helping the trap without even knowing it. One of the groomsmen's wives, Sarah, called me, all excitement and sunshine. "I'm so thrilled you're making George do this big anniversary party, Em. It shows how much you two trust each other. You're always such an example to us." Her trusting voice twisted the knife. I listened, smiled even. In all the right places. Inside, though, I was burning. "You have no idea, Sarah." I offered false reassurances and realized the betrayal was magnified by their blind belief in our perfect couplehood. I wasn't just exposing George. I was offering these unsuspecting wives and husbands the horrifying gift of truth. The most crucial element was the video. In the quiet of my home office, I edited the tribute. It wasn't a collage of grainy clips. No, it was clinical evidence. The footage was nothing more than screenshots, stitched together, timed perfectly to a dramatic, escalating score. The tempo rose with every cut. Names, timestamps, emojis suddenly looked like legal evidence. Their cheerful, careless text messages became the script. Their sin became my soundtrack. I also selected a small, tarnished silver platter from our wedding china, a gift from George's grandmother. It had our intertwined initials, engraved and fading. I remember tracing the letters with my finger. Once it meant forever. Now it would mean guilt. I packed it carefully. It wasn't needed for the party, but it was coming with me, my silent, damning symbol of vows turned to ash. Evenings were for finalizing details with Liana, the hotel manager. I was ruthless in my requests, calm to the point of frightening. "I'll need full control of the lights and the audio at precisely 9 o'clock. The lie rolled off my tongue so easily now. A tribute to our unforgettable 3 years. I told her with a smile that didn't touch my eyes. 2 days before the trip, Chloe called, her voice shaking. "Em, are you sure about Magnus Plaza?" She sounded nervous, almost too nervous. George is going to be so stressed about his big trip the next day. Maybe you should postpone your party. I seized the opening. "Oh, I know he is," I said sweetly, my tone warm and utterly fake. He looked so tired packing for his big review tomorrow. But I insisted, "Chloe, this is a chance for him to relax before his important business trip. Besides," I paused, let the silence hang, then added lightly, "it'll be nice to see everyone again." "Everyone?" she whispered. "Of course. The old wedding team, the ones who made that day unforgettable." And then my final lie, carefully sharpened. "Don't worry. George is going to take a big nap on the way there. He'll be fine for his trip tomorrow." That one sentence sealed it. She'd believe the real rendezvous was still on. She'd believe I was still blind. There was a long, thick silence. I could almost hear her weighing her guilt on the other end. "Well, that'll be fun," she said finally, her voice small, defeated. "Yes, I whispered after hanging up, my voice slipping into that cinematic mid-deep register. Fun. Then silence. Heavy, suffocating silence. Not with sadness, but with the chilling, quiet satisfaction of a lever being pulled. The final piece was in place. The hotel ballroom glittered with soft lights and the clinking of champagne glasses. Music floated gently through the air, wrapping the space in a suffocating warmth. To the unsuspecting, the betrayed wives and husbands, it looked like a celebration. But to me, it was a stage built for judgment. George stood near the bar, handsome in his tailored suit, greeting the same groomsmen who had betrayed their vows month after month. Chloe shimmered in silver, her smile bright, her eyes scanning the room, calculating, watching, always watching. The betrayed wives of the groomsmen stood radiant and proud, clueless. The betrayed husbands of the bridesmaids sat near the front, Ethan, Caleb, David, beaming with pride, sipping their drinks. Completely unaware that their worlds were seconds from shattering. I had personally ensured that 3 of the hotel staff, the ones who always served the conference bookings, wore small, subtle red carnations pinned to their vests. A private signal that said, "They know you." The betrayal wasn't secret anymore. It was public. It was humiliation magnified. At precisely 9, I raised my glass. To 3 years of love, trust, and truth. The crowd cheered. Laughter, glasses clinking, fake, empty joy. Then suddenly, the house lights vanished, exactly as planned. The entire room was plunged into darkness, except for the bright white glow of the projector screen. At first, soft romantic music played, clips from our wedding day, our first dance, smiling faces. 2 minutes of beautiful lies, 2 minutes of false peace. Then, bam, the music screeched to a halt. A hard metallic bass dropped, heavy and relentless. The screen filled with a wall of glowing, incriminating text. The first messages scrolled quickly, setting the tone. New city, new memories. Hotel Magnus Plaza booked. George, don't forget the champagne. The laughter died instantly. A glass slipped from someone's hand and crashed on the floor, like a scream ripping through the silence. Then the montage shifted and hit where it hurt. George's message: booked the flight for 2 p.m. on Tuesday. Thanks for the company time, boss. Chloe's reply: admit it, George. I'm the only chief bridesmaid you ever really wanted first. Oh, the room went still. The wives turned to their husbands, disbelief spreading across their faces. And then the husbands of the bridesmaids turned too, eyes wide, skin pale. Ethan clenched his fists so tight his knuckles went white. Tell me this isn't you, Maria, he whispered. But she couldn't even look at him. Caleb shoved his chair back. I took vows for this, he muttered before storming out. I stepped forward. My voice echoed through the sound system. Cold, calm, surgical. This, I said, is what loyalty looked like when the music stopped. I walked to the front table. George was frozen, mouth open, eyes glassy. I placed the tarnished silver platter, our wedding china, right beside him. Its dull initials caught the projector light. This platter was meant to symbolize our unbroken bond. I said quietly, Now it serves only the cold dish of truth. The screen flickered again. This time, the guest list. Room numbers, couples' initials, aliases. Each name matched with smiling wedding photos. You see, I continued, they plan to celebrate again tomorrow. Same hotel, same sin. They're checked into their rooms right now, waiting for this party to end so they can start their secret one. But this time, the hall was already reserved by me. George's jaw tightened. Amelia, stop this. You're humiliating yourself. I turned slightly. No, I'm ending you. Chloe stepped forward, trembling. Please, Em, it wasn't. Don't, I snapped. You had 3 years to choose honesty. You chose him instead. Chaos exploded. Wives screaming, crying, husbands shouting, some falling apart, some just frozen in disbelief. The sound was electric. I stood still, watching, letting the room destroy itself. Then I looked at George one last time, his face, pale, broken. I picked up the silver platter, slowly turned my back on him, on them, and walked toward the exit. The projector kept looping the messages behind me, over and over, mercilessly. My silence was my victory. The next morning, their world did not merely start to unravel. It was shredded with surgical precision. The wives left one by one, driving through the night to parents' homes or filing complaints at dawn. The immediate public fallout was breathtaking. The banker groomsman, Robert, lost his position before noon. His company didn't just fire him quietly. His wife had forwarded the video montage to the compliance department, and by lunchtime, the company issued a public internal memo citing gross ethical misconduct, a detail I noted on the professional social media site where I had a burner account. His reputation was instantly toxic. Another groomsman, a logistics manager, saw his father, a stern, retired military man, cut him from the family will, stating publicly that a man without honor deserves no inheritance. A third's wife, Sarah, packed her children's things and disappeared to her sister's, leaving divorce papers taped to the fridge and a note that read, "You can explain this to your children." As for the husbands of the bridesmaids, their responses were just as final. Ethan, who had begged his wife, Maria, to deny the truth as it flashed on the screen, filed for divorce the same day. He changed the locks on their shared penthouse before she even returned from the hotel. The deeper fallout for Maria came from her family. Her wealthy father, a man obsessed with appearances, immediately issued a legal letter demanding the return of every significant asset he had gifted her, from the trust fund to the luxury car. Her life, built on social approval, collapsed utterly. Caleb, too angry to speak, simply sent a photo of his empty closet with a single message, "You can have everything else." The silence of his exit was deafening. And David, the quiet one, didn't shout or break anything. He just left a note on the dining table that was short, precise, and utterly final. "You broke something that can't be repaired. I'll be in the small house by the lake." He was gone before sunrise, taking only his most vital documents. By evening, 3 homes stood empty, 3 women sat alone, and 3 marriages ended without a single word from me. I didn't need to say a thing. The truth had already done all the talking. Chloe's fiancé, his face gray with fury, arrived later that afternoon. He threw her engagement ring onto the marble floor of the hotel lobby. It rolled once, twice, and stopped at her feet. As I walked past, on my way to finalize George's ruin, I paused for the briefest moment, my heel catching the heavy metal of the ring, gently kicking it further across the cold marble. She didn't move to pick it up. And George, for him, I reserved something colder and more strategic. I didn't take his money. I took his future. That morning, an anonymous, untraceable email reached the ethics committee of his logistics firm. Attached was a brief but suggestive report: travel reimbursements mismatched with extracurricular activities, lodging receipts inconsistent with official itineraries. The evidence was vague enough to avoid linking back to me, but detailed enough to trigger a full, formal investigation. Crucially, I ensured the report highlighted that his recent business trip had directly jeopardized a $50 million government contract due to his unauthorized use of company resources. This made his termination a necessity, not an option. While his company scrambled to verify his conduct, I was busy securing my new life. I withdrew quietly from our joint accounts, moved the house deed into a trust under Liam's name, and created a separate, untouchable fund for his education. I also changed the alarm code, then removed the valuable oil painting, a wedding gift from my grandmother, from the wall above the fireplace. By the time George realized what had happened, he was already suspended, pending review, his professional reputation unraveling in slow motion. When he finally confronted me that night, eyes wild, I remained still. "You did this," he hissed, accusation thick in the air. "No," I said. "You did. I just made sure the light found you." He sank onto the couch, head in his hands. He reached for his phone when Chloe tried to call. He let it ring. The silence that followed wasn't peaceful. It was justice. Weeks passed. The story spread quietly through whispers and rumors, distorted by gossip, but always carrying the cold, hard kernel of truth. People asked how I could be so calm. They expected tears, shouting, or breakdown. The answer was simple. Calm is what remains when there's nothing left to fear, nothing left to lose. Fear dies when you become the one holding the blade. My new routine was peaceful, devoid of the exhausting theatricality the betrayal had demanded. I tucked Liam into bed each night, the soft rhythm of his breathing the only sound that mattered. My home felt lighter, not happy, but clean. The ghosts of the sin had been evicted, scrubbed from the walls. As for the others, some were divorced, some unemployed, some estranged from families that once adored them. Their monthly meetings ended forever, replaced by lawsuits and restraining orders. Chloe vanished from the city. I heard she moved far north, living with an elderly aunt, her professional life ruined, her engagement ring still somewhere on the marble floor of the Magnus Plaza lobby. George fought the investigation, but without funds, legal representation, or credibility, his case was futile. His suspension became termination. He lost the house, he lost the respect of his peers, and he lost access to the accounts I had secured. He realized too late that I had not sought emotional revenge. I had executed a financial and professional castration. Sometimes I stand by the window and watch the city lights flicker against the glass. I reflect on the 3 years of comfortable lies versus the 3 weeks of brutal truth. Love, I've learned, doesn't always die in a storm. Sometimes it rots quietly, a slow, internal decay, until you decide to ignite it, to burn what's left and cleanse the space. And I burned it all. Now, only silence remains. A heavy, victorious silence.
Enjoyed the story? Then like this video. It helps more people find us. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss the next twist in Revenge Unfolded. Tell us in the comments, what would you have done differently? And hey, don't keep it to yourself. Share this story with someone who loves a good revenge plot.